This is a t-test problem. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention took a census in 2013 and found the percentages of obese adults in each state in the United States. The average percentage of adult obesity in the randomly selected states will be above 25%. Test the claim using alpha as 0.05. So just from reading the problem, we already know that we will be using mu because it's an average and it's above 25%, so that's a key word to know that this is a right tail test and it is greater than. And we already know alpha is 0.05. Okay, so we will be solving this t-test using the traditional method. And first we need to recognize that because we are only looking at 7 specific states, that means n equals 7. And h naught, as we said before in the previous slide, is mu, and it is equals 25. And for h1, it is mu, and as we also said before, it is greater than 25. And then for alpha, we already know that it's 0.05. And degrees of freedom in this problem will be founded by doing n minus 1. And because n is 7, we know 7 minus 1 is 6, so the degrees of freedom is 6. To find x bar, you need to enter these values: 29.8, 30.9, 26.5, 25.4, 21.8, 24.1, and 32.4. All of those values into list 1. And once you have all of those in list 1, you can go to F4 and click 1var stats. And from there, just enter 1var stats like normal, and you will get 27.27 for x bar. And while you are also on this slide, you can also find that the standard deviation, which we are using S for this test because it's a t-test, is 3.872. And then next, while we're on the calculator already, to find your critical value, you can go to F5 and go to inverse T. And the area, because it is a 0.05 alpha, that means that the area will be 0.95 because that's the area to the left. And the degrees of freedom is 6, as we already said. Therefore, the critical value equals 1.94. Okay, and the test value equation for a t-test is test value equals x bar minus mu divided by S divided by the square root of n. So using the values we already found, x bar is 27.27 minus mu, which is 25, divided by standard deviation, which is 3.8772, divided by the square root of n, which is 7. So therefore t equals 0.222. Okay, so now we can start to make our graph, or our bell curve. So this is 0. This is a right tail test, so this will mark 1.94, which is the critical value. And we can shade in the right side because it's a right tail graph. And it's important to label the areas. So this is 0.05, and 0.95. And then when we put our test value on, we know that 0.222 will fall somewhere around here. And now it's very clear to see that 0.222 does not fall within the shaded region. Therefore, we do not reject. And we can come to the conclusion that there is not enough evidence to claim the average percentage of obesity in the 7 randomly, or obesity in adults in the 7 randomly selected states is above 25%.